How y'all doing today, my friends? Today I'm going to give y'all another Chris Chan update. It's been about a month since the last one, and in that time, not much has happened, and other than like in the past few weeks, because Chris has been cited about 3 times just in the last week alone, and I think it does further prove that theory that Chris is only going to be seen like at the first or the end of each month, because that's what his group home is allowing him to do, but I don't really know. I don't know how true that is. All we know for certain is that he's definitely in a group home. And from the pictures we're going to look at, you can also tell that Chris is desperately trying not to be seen, not to be photographed. In the first few pictures, he's not wearing his Sonichu medallion. In the last picture, you can hardly even tell it's Chris. He's gone full incognito mode. Now, the reason Chris is seemingly doing this is because he notices how many people are taking photos of him when he goes out in public. Now, I wonder if this can't be a new thing. There had to be people doing this before the motherfucking, but still, I guess now Chris is much more ashamed to be photographed in public. I don't know. The Sonichu medallion being gone really does throw you off, though. I know he's trying to hide, but that's breaking some type of Quickville cardinal sin right there. And of course, I could be wrong on this, but I've seen a lot of comments on my most recent Chris video with people criticizing those who are taking pictures of Chris, saying that they're going out there just to take these photos of Chris, like hunting him down to take them. Well, I would not put that past people because we know what Chris's weens are like. I think this is just people who are like, at their job or just sitting at the mall, and all of a sudden Chris Chan comes walking by. It's still pretty weird to just take random pictures of Chris as he walks through the mall or wherever he's at, but it's much more weird when you like plan your day out to be like, I'm gonna go find the creator of Sonichu just to mess with them, which to my knowledge we haven't seen so far since Chris got out of jail. So, with all that being said, let's actually look at these pictures now. The first one came out about a week ago, and it was taken from a guy who was working at his job when Chris came in, and he rang Chris up. Now, let me tell you something about this one. There's a lot of things to notice about Chris, but I think the thing that people noticed most was the girl behind him giving him that stink eye, that death stare. And the reason that she may have been giving him the quote-unquote stink eye is because from the cashier's, from his own writings online, Chris apparently smelled like shit. Like, Chris apparently smelled terrible. Now, is that a shocker? Is that really too hard to believe? No. You look at any lolcow, you probably just go, like, name me one lolcow that looks like they smell good other than King Cobra. The other thing that people definitely noticed from the first glance is, like I already previously brought up here, no Sonichu medallion. It's weird. It's really weird seeing him without that. Because you know when he was in jail, they probably took it away from him, but no one got to see him in jail. Now seeing him here, seeing him out and about, no Sonichu medallion to speak of, it's weird, man. It's really weird. Chris's hair also looks much more blue. I mean, it looks like the ponies that he draws and shit. Like he's going down that line. You know, he wants that type of like bright blue hair. I mean, shit, he's the goddess Blue Heart at the end of the day. Maybe his hair's not looking as good as he wants it to be though, so he's trying to wear that blue hat to try to throw people off. As long as his head's blue, I guess it's the same thing, right? So yeah, there's this picture of Chris. I'm assuming that he's in line, being rang up. I'm not even assuming, that is what's happening here. The girl behind him might just be mad because Chris is taking a long time rummaging through his tote bag, trying to figure out like how he's gonna pay, or can't find his wallet. I don't know. But when he does eventually pay, this is how he signs the receipt. J. Christ Chan Sonichu. Look at all the lightning bolts too. He even managed to draw his fucking logo over Sonichu. This is how he was writing his name in jail. Now, obviously, he's not writing it to the extent he was in jail. You know, it was CPU, Blue Heart, Goddess of the Commodore consoles, and the Nation of Kama, whatever. Like, his name was at least 20 words in the jail letters, but clearly he only has one little line here. He can only fit a few of his names, but he chose the one he's been using the most recently, which is Jesus Christ Chan Sonichu, because with Chris being out of jail and not hearing from him much, you guys may have forgotten about it, but while he was in jail, Chris did come to the conclusion that, like, you know, he is Jesus Christ. And honestly, all it makes me think is he walking around the group home pretending to be Jesus? Like, is he going up to sick people who were at the group home and trying to, like, pray to them or pray at them to kind of save their soul? Like, to what extent does he actually think he's Jesus is what I'm curious about. I personally think he might be only just doing this like in writing, where he can write it and then scurry on off before he gets questioned about it, which is the same reason I think he was doing it in jail. It's peak lolcow behavior and something Chris does a lot. He'll talk up a big game, act like all this stuff is true and people can't comment on it and people can't respond to him with it. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe someday soon a video will come out of Chris at like a Walmart or something trying to use his omnipotent powers to like get a toy off of the top shelf or something. I don't know. But it's just interesting to see him still writing like this. I thought maybe the Jesus Christ shit was all gone by now, but no, clearly he's still entrenched in that mindset. And I know I kind of touched on this earlier, but again, I just want to point out how blue Chris's hair is now. Like, he's really trying to make himself look like his avatar online, you know, the little blue-haired, like, goddess he always draws and claims that he actually looks like. He's trying to look like that now in real life. But then I thought of something else, and it's something that I've seen people talk about now ever since this picture was posted, and it's weird because is he wearing the hat to try to be in disguise, or is he wearing the hat because he may have fucked up his hair while trying to bleach it like this? Who knows, because in none of these pictures today we see him without that hat, so it's just speculation, but yeah, it just looks like a bunch of, like, fuzz from an old, like an old pillow or like an old couch or something in the back of his head. Definitely isn't looking too great. So a few days later, another picture of Chris came out, and this one was of Chris at another local gaming establishment, which isn't the Game Place, ladies and gentlemen. I know many were joking about that on the last upload, saying, oh my god, he's back at the Game Place. No, I think Michael Snyder hightailed out of town, moved to a new location under a new name, just to avoid things like this happening. So now it's some other poor schmuck's problem who owns a gaming establishment. Because Chris is here playing some Magic the Gathering. This is probably one of Chris's few outlets to kind of get away from everything and go back to doing the shit that he likes to do, which is like tabletop games, fantasy type shit. I can't imagine he's getting to do a lot of that at the group home. One thing you can notice here, and maybe it's just the angle of the picture, but Chris's hair definitely does not look like the bright blue that it looked like in the picture from a few days prior. Looks like a lot more gray here, but as I'm saying, could just be the angle. And another funny thing I noticed is Chris has his glasses on, but then he has another pair of what looks like sunglasses above on his hat. Chris is just always out here making fashion statements. It's definitely good to see that Chris hasn't lost that part of him. The guy who posted this picture, you can see up the top there, right by Chris's head, a sign that looks all blurred out, because obviously when people take these pictures, they don't want to dox the location. They don't want to give away where it is. Sadly, these people, and this is why I think everyone who's taking these pictures aren't that aware of how notorious Chris is online and how the community around him is, because they try to blur out stuff so that people can't find these locations, but then, lo and behold, the location's up on the quickie about like an hour later because, you know, people are smart with this shit. Chris is obviously only going to be in like a 40 to 50 mile radius from the group home, if that. That's probably way too generous, but there can only be a certain amount of game stores in that, like, in that distance, so, you know, it's not really worth it. People are gonna find this shit out anyway, but I can understand people wanting to hide stuff for, like, the sake of the store and all that. But yeah, Chris is, this is just another place Chris is going to frequent, and like I said, I understand why people do this, because people are obviously going to be calling this store a lot, just to be like, hey, Chris Chan's here, you shouldn't let this guy in, you know, fucked his mom, yada yada yada. It's like, I get that, but it's always all for naught, because they're going to find out. The final picture of today is maybe the most, like, shocking one, because when you first look at this, you might just be like, where's Chris? I mean, probably not. Like, it is pretty obvious, but Chris is really trying hard to not be seen here, and he looks so much older than he does in these past few pictures. Like, you would think he's like a very fragile old man. Chris definitely doesn't look good in this one, but there's something else we'll get to in a little bit with this picture that a lot of people have been pointing out, and I personally want to give my opinions on it. But let's take a look at the picture here. It's Chris with his newest group of gal pals, who I can only assume are other people at the group home. This also may prove another thing, that Chris is in a group home with only women. I don't know how true that is. I don't know, like I said, I don't know nothing about that, but clearly here, We've only seen Chris before, driven around by women. We see him here with 2 other women. Maybe he is in a group home with women. I think a lot of people are very, they're a little confused, a little worried here, seeing Chris, like, push this lady in a wheelchair, knowing Chris's, his past with elderly women. But it's him. It's obviously Chris. You can see him back there in the pink hat. He's really trying his absolute damnedest to not be seen, you know. No Sonichu medallion, sunglasses on, hat on again, which makes me think, like, his hair really is fucked up. We can't see none of that blue in the background yet again here. It's definitely good on the people who took this picture to censor out the lady's face right there, because these people obviously have no idea. Maybe they know what Chris did, but they have no idea what Chris is, what he, like his following and all that. So, like, you know, imagine just being someone who's, like, you're trying to go about your day. They tell you at the group home, hey, this person's just going to be wheeling you in your chair today. And you're getting all these pictures taken of you, and you're thinking, like, wow, like, why are all these people taking pictures of me? Like, am I looking that weird today or something? But no, they're taking pictures at the fucking, the most documented person in internet history wheeling you around. But luckily, there is more info on this picture, because the person who took it came online like a little bit afterwards, and they explained this whole situation. So I took this excerpt from the Quickie. I'll leave the link to this article in the description below if you guys want to go read this for yourself. But this is what the person said. So yeah, this person named Cardboard Jojo wrote this. Won't say where, yes they will in the next post, but similar to where they've been cited in May, was walking my dog, and a person in leggings and a jean skirt said, "That is just the cutest dog." And I immediately recognized their voice. Yeah, that's that's something I completely, like, that would throw me off too. I think that would throw anyone off. Imagine you're just walking your dog, next thing you know, Chris Chan's right there in disguise trying to compliment it. If you know who he is, that would really take you back. I was shook and just told them thank you. But I feel so blessed. The way you ended that, nah, well, there's nothing to feel blessed about by, like, a motherfucker coming up to you and telling you that you have a cute dog, you know. It's, the logical way anyone would respond is, thank you. I know it's a very adorable dog, but please stay away from my grandmother. So that post right there was actually posted before the photos were posted, because now here it says on the Quickie that a few hours later, this person posted the photos of Chris and disclosed the location. So like I said, they said, I won't say where. Well, when pressed on it, they easily said where. This was in Williamsburg, at the premium outlets for those interested in documenting that level of specifics. Didn't want to post this info at the time in case someone would attempt to go there and make contact. That I understand completely, you know, because they probably posted this, like, right after the fact, or posted that first post right after the fact, and didn't want people just making a beeline to that shopping center. But nonetheless, the info's out there now, and the person then says they were on their way to get Ben & Jerry's ice cream. So honestly, it just seems like a random day out for Chris now that he's in the group home, you know, going out with a couple other people there, getting some ice cream, doing some shopping, nothing really interesting about it. It's the fact that we're making this video to begin with is wild, considering it's just about Chris going out and doing menial tasks, but you don't see much of Chris Chan anymore, so anytime you do see him, it really is, it's like, holy shit, there he is, and he looks different every single time you see him. I want to go back to the picture we were just looking at, because, like I'm saying, like, from the first picture from like 2 weeks ago, you can see that bright blue hair, and now Chris just looks like a completely different person. I mean, he's fucking morphing. And it's kind of sad that you see that Chris has to go into a disguise now to try to not have pictures taken of him, and I assume that's because the people at the group home probably by now have been getting phone calls and different things like that, and since they're trying to keep Chris off the internet, they know this shit's only making it worse. Chris, I guess that's just assumptions though, that's just my speculation. Who knows, Chris might just be seeing all the cameras and getting really nervous because he's been away from the public eye for so long. But this is the place we're at now. And I did mention, though, that I wanted to talk about one other thing about this picture, and it's something that you haven't seen on screen so far because I've cut it out right below Chris's, right after Chris's, like, legs right there. At the very bottom of this picture, you can see what many people are theorizing to be an ankle monitor, which a lot of people would say, you know, it's so that Chris can't just run away from the group home or go too far from any of this shit, obviously. But I gotta be honest with you, I'm almost convinced this is not an ankle monitor, probably just some like ankle accessory Chris has on. We know he likes to wear all this like this silly ass goofy shit, all these accessories and all that, and I don't think this is anything other than that. But who knows, I could be completely wrong. What do you guys think in the comments? I'm pretty sure it's not an ankle monitor, but hey, you know, he doesn't have one on the other foot. So who knows? Other people have said too that he hasn't been wearing this in any of the pictures that we've been looking at in like the past month or anything like that. So also, I could see that being a reason as to why it's not an ankle monitor. But that's where I'm siding right now. I don't think it is, but definitely is something to think about, because if it is an ankle monitor, you know that they really don't want Chris running far. Maybe they do it to everyone at the group home. Like I said, who knows? Just things we don't know and things that we're speculating on right now. But I know you guys have a lot of your own opinions too, so if you do, drop them down in the comments. I'll do my best to try to respond to them. And yeah, this is really where we're at with Chris now. I say it at the end of every one of these videos I make every other month that it's wild that we're just sitting here talking about just random photos of Chris that pop up, but you know, it's Chris. People have been very interested to see what happens after he gets out of jail, and well, we're seeing it right now. And ladies and gentlemen, let's be honest, it's pretty goddamn underwhelming. So y'all know that I always say I'll keep y'all updated with any Chris Chan updates that come out. You know, we've stayed on this story since it happened, since Chris got thrown into jail 2 years ago. And, you know, I ain't gonna leave y'all hanging. I promise y'all that. It's wild to think that we are coming up on 2 years of the channel here. It was the day Chris went to jail that we made the first video on this channel, and we've kind of just kept going since then. And I appreciate every one of you that stuck by since day one. I appreciate all you that just see this video and you're coming to chill now. Even if you just watch this video and you don't even like me, I want to thank you for at least giving it a shot. But yeah, thank you to all you goats who made it this far in the video. Making these videos, even if one person enjoys it, even if one person can watch this, help them get through their day, just bring a smile to your face, maybe bring you a laugh, make you learn something, which, I mean, come on now. You're on my goddamn channel. You probably ain't learning shit, but I appreciate all you guys. I really do. This is usually the part of the video where I do shout outs, but for today's video, I'm going to forego that. I promise y'all it's not out of laziness. It's just due to the fact that the shout-outs would make up over half the length of this video. I re-recorded the shout-outs the other day, and we're up to about 500 members now, and I can't thank you guys enough. But looking at, we're really pushing the 10-minute mark now with shout-outs, and I wouldn't have it any other way. But I'll put it in more of my long-form videos, which are mostly what we do on this channel. I can't remember the last time I did a video this short that wasn't on Chris Chan. So for all you people, don't worry, I got y'all tomorrow in the next upload. And man, again, thank you to anyone who's watched, thank you to anyone who's supported and stuck around. Like, just thank you guys. This shit's been a wild ride, watching all this dumb shit Chris has done, watching all the dumb shit all these locals have done. And if you're interested in people like Chris, we cover a lot of other crazy people on the channel. Your Daniel Larsons, your DSPs, we got an Only Use Me Blade video coming out soon. So if any of this stuff sounds like interesting to you, then I hope you guys stick around and enjoy the content. The final cheap plug I want to give is that I do a show every Wednesday night at 6:30 with my friend Kiwi Tapes here on YouTube called the Too High for Stupid podcast over on Kiwi's channel. If you guys like videos like this, if you guys like hearing about different locales, definitely stop by every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Used to be on Saturdays, we moved it to Wednesdays, but I think you guys will definitely like the show if you haven't heard it yet. So yeah, with all that being said, guys, hope you have a great rest of your week, great rest of the goddamn summer. It's going to be a good one, y'all. It's going to be a real good summer for all of us, and I hope I see you guys in the next one. Until then, take care and have a great day, y'all.